We're going to be installing our first micro-village in San Luis Obispo for the homeless, some 62 homes. Before I'm done, I want to solve homeless crisis.
We're at the Most Fundable Companies event hosted by Pepperdine University's Graziadio Business School, where a distinguished panel of investors, venture advisors, and faculty evaluate startups on their financial strength, market opportunity, leadership, and more. This event recognizes the nation's most fundable companies and celebrates the founders that are shaping our future. It's building the dream.
I'm Eidelman, co-founder of Azure Printed Homes. We didn't have any idea about 3D printing homes at the time, but our first projects were in Malibu, rebuilding homes. For the first 2.5 years, poured all of our funds into developing new technology of how to 3D print homes. And then in March of 22, did the prototype and ran from there.
When did you think you could deploy this nationwide? Because it looks like you went from a smaller experience here, and now you have this product that could solve a huge problem for the country as a whole.
6 years ago, we thought the idea of it. So we gotta find a way to build faster and less expensive. By using what currently exists, by using technology, less paperwork, better hiring, it really wasn't making a difference. And so we looked at automotive and aerospace that use 3D printing. We can do it in a factory, in a controlled environment. We can just order exactly what we need. Initial customers, what they loved is how beautiful the designs are. Because using 3D printing, you can do curve, you can now have your vision and implement it. It takes us 24 hours to print a 9 by 20 by 10.5 feet tall structure. Usually it takes 3 months, 3 to 4 months in regular construction. So the whole process is much accelerated. We're not subject to labor shortages because our process is very much automated. No tariffs, all American made. We started right here in Malibu, but now delivered our product all over California, from Big Sur to San Diego and all over the country. We've now shipped to Colorado, Texas, South Carolina, Georgia in 2 years from now to take it global.
How did your mindset change when you thought about this business? You go from an industry where CapEx is low to an industry where, wow, the capital investment is huge. How do you navigate that?
Our vision was, all right, it'll take us $5 million to open this factory. Can we get this money back in 12 months? And the reality is we can. The margins are so much higher in what we do that we get our funding back very quickly, and then it becomes very profitable business. It was very hard to raise money for hardware. In the United States, 80% of the VC capital goes to software businesses, only 20% to hardware. Here's what makes sense. If you invest in technology and robotics, and now in AI, you can produce this so much quicker. Now it's not as capital intensive. So it was really just a matter of proving once, and then now it's working just like in any real estate project.
So if you could go back in time from when you first decided that you're going to build this business and scale it, right? If you could give yourself advice, then what would you?
This is my fourth startup, so I've gotten lots of lessons learned from previous years. I would say that the only difference is we probably should have been more aggressive raising money earlier. Yeah, we probably would have owned less of the company,
of course,
but it would have been easier. So now, we've raised over $7 million. Now it's 3.5 years later. Based on this lessons learned, I really want to raise at least another $10 million so that we have ability to experiment, and plus demand. I mean, we've lost 16,000 homes, $30 billion worth of homes in wildfires here in Altadena and Palisades. So the demand is so much stronger. If I don't raise more capital quickly, I won't be able to expand quickly. There are so many natural disasters who require quick housing. There's so many homeless. We're going to be installing our first micro-village in San Luis Obispo for the homeless, some 62 homes. Before I'm done, I want to solve homeless crisis. When governments here in Southern California spend $1 million per unit to create units for the homeless, that doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. Our units are $50,000. So we can spend 5% of what governments spend with all the bureaucracy, and now have money left for drug rehab and alcohol rehab and vocational training. We lobbied for the bill that was signed by Governor Newsom last year to allow this interim housing solutions. They're less expensive. They're still very good looking. They look very attractive, high ceilings, very well insulated, so that people are proud to bring somebody else to their home.
For entrepreneurs out there, holding on to your equity sometimes is your worst enemy.
I have over 1,200 investors, so I've raised money, crowdfunding, angel investors, and now some family offices and venture funds. You're not only getting the investors, you're also getting your first customers, right? So people who invest, so that's another added advantage that we haven't thought of. Our first unit was at Big Sur. glamping resort. When the customer came in and said, I want it for glamping, I had to put my smartphone under the conference table to see what glamping means. So, when you have a beautiful product, you have a product market fit that people just want it. I was, at that time, it was during COVID, I was thinking backyard offices and ADUs, right? But we're now building luxury homes in Palisades and Malibu to homeless housing and everything in the middle. That's also another part of what's unique about this. And like I said, this is my fourth business. In my previous 3 businesses, I built something and then I start going real hard to try to sell it. When you have a product that people must have or want to have, it makes it so much easier.